All good. All right, so everybody, welcome to the brand new interview series I'm doing on my Facebook business page. Sarah Bowman's one of my team members. She's going to be watching with us. If you want to say hi to Sarah, she's in the comments below. And additionally, if you're having any trouble connecting or asking questions, definitely tag her. And I'm going to try and answer questions as well. And she's going to share this to the Confident Content Creator Club, which is a group of inspired entrepreneurs sharing tips, trends, and insights about content. And today we are talking with Dana Pharant.
Yes.
Pharant. Okay. Shoot. Okay. That's all good. Dana Pharant. And she is literally, this is her launch day on her second book. Yes. The Inner Dominatrix Guide, How to Be a Badass at Business. Today, we're going to take you a little bit behind the scenes of her book launch. We're going to talk about how to rock your content with bulletproof confidence. And over the years, throughout the next 20 minutes, we're going to dispel some of the myths. We're going to define what it means to be an inner dominatrix. Dana's been actually involved in the industry in the past. She spent about 6 years in that in that container. And we're going to talk about how to create incredible customer service experience in your business, especially if you're a business coach or a consultant where you want to look at managing your energy better. I was just sharing with Dana that I was reading Brendon Burchard's book, the highly effective performance habits. Oh my God, I'm going to mess it up. It's live, but it's his latest book. He spent over $1 million, I believe, researching the habits of highly successful individuals. And one of those things that he looks at along the way is managing your energy, and that highly effective, successful people have a habit of managing their energy and creating new energy. So we're going to talk a little bit about that, especially if you're a business coach and consultant, you're there for your clients and you want to show up in the best possible way. And last but not least, we're going to talk a little bit about bulletproof confidence, which I just love. I love the idea of bulletproof confidence. So we're going to get started in a minute. One thing I'm going to do, a little housekeeping here, is I've assigned an agenda. Let me see here. I'm going to do a test agenda. I'm going to do, let's see, ready to interview series. We're going to toggle around with the taglines below. So we're ready to amplify, and let's actually dive into, let's talk a little bit about your book, because this is a special day. Congratulations, by the way.
Thank
Welcome.
you.
Welcome.
Pardon my reach. So, should have grabbed this earlier.
No worries.
Live. This is the book. Yay.
I love it.
The Inner Dominatrix Guide is the first of the series, and this one is Become a Badass in Business. And nice. The whole idea is getting you out of the loop of self-judgment, out of the loops of making yourself wrong, and really being able to stand in that inner power in a way that's like quiet but confident and present.
I love that. And when we're talking about being ready and amplify, I think that's really important, because that quietness is almost required when we have the voices inside of our head. I can imagine detaching from the outcome, being more present and focused. These are some of the themes I know are inside of your book. Is that right?
Absolutely. Yeah. And this is what I find is like, I'm just going to dive into like the analogy between the dominatrix world and why I'm pulling from this as an archetype.
Sure. Well, and back up to, what is a dominatrix? What is a dominatrix? Tell us in your words, because we all have like this connotation, and so tell me a bit more about
the 50 Shades of Grey, Hollywood kind of idea of this stern person who just does what she wants. And it's actually not. So a dominatrix is somebody who really takes the time to get to know the person that she's working with. She does a deep dive into what's okay, what's not okay, what's totally off the table, what are the triggers, what's going on, and what are the outcomes? What do you want from the session? Where do you want to go? And then from there, she takes a lot of time to decide, to actually craft out, what are we doing? What are the, what's the scene going to be? How the loose script of how it's going to play out, and making sure that all the parts and pieces are in place. So it's actually a high-level service position, because she is there, for the submissive and for their transformation. So a lot of people don't realize that it can be a very healing process. It's a way to actually change what's going on in your body, and it's also a very spiritual process. So that's something else that I find a lot of people don't know about.
I love that. And tell me a little bit about the idea of the inner dominatrix. What is that? How does
So
that translate?
yeah, so I went through a pretty big transformation. So I had a 7-figure business, and we hit a bankruptcy for a number of reasons, and I won't get into it because it's a long story. So in that, I laid everybody off and I went down to just me, and I restructured the business. And it was in that process of changing things around and really taking stock and looking at what was it? What was it that caused the fail? That was where I realized, you know what? Here I had all this personal power. I was like rocking it over in my personal life, the whole dominatrix thing. I'm like, right. But in my business, I was defaulting to everybody else. I was letting everybody else lead. I was letting it, I was really letting it slide. So I realized that it's like especially for women in business. I mean, men don't tend to have as much of this problem, but some of them do. But this space of not owning our power, not being willing to stand in our expertise and being willing to this is who I am, this is what I do, and I can help you from a place of confidence. And it's that bulletproof confidence, right? And confidence is not arrogance. Confidence is like, yes, of course I can do it for you.
I love that. And I think that's important to know that here you are, you're writing your second book, and the confidence factor, the fact that you have, 25 plus years in the industry of is it health and wellness management, so 25 years and ran and built from the ground up a 7-figure business from basically word of mouth. And and you're up leveling in this process of launching a brand new book series, and still that not lack of confidence, but there's something I like to call it the imposter syndrome comes up, right? And it stops us sometimes in our tracks. And I think it pops its ugly head every time we try and take things to the next level. So can you tell me how you maneuver? We're going to look a little bit behind the scenes, and how have you been navigating this launch and just, emerging into and owning your expertise?
Yeah, Leigh, this launch has been epic. I have talk about amplifying. I have really stepped it up. So I've hired somebody to help me with PR. I went and again, a little plug for the book. The book cover, I really dove deep, and I got all of my tribe to give them their input so that we had the cover that was going to appeal to the people that I wanted. I dove deep with 4 different people editing the book. Right, I just kept upping the game on this. And and each time there was you butt up against this oh no. And right up until, and I told you the story, it's Saturday morning. So this Saturday I went in and I wanted to just change something because I had second thoughts about the category that I put the book into. I wanted to, it was oh my God, I put it in a really tough category. I'm highly competitive. I thought, well, let me pick an easier category because that'll be better. And then I found out Saturday morning that everything was locked, which also what was locked was the price that I had played around with. And so I get this moment where I'm oh my God, I've just screwed my launch, right? I have just oh no, right? Oh, now, luckily, the tools that I've been teaching, the tools that I've been working with for, a long time, the tools that I've been teaching for about 10 years, are ingrained. And so I had a meltdown. It was maybe 10, 15 minutes. I will admit to that. I did.
We're allowed.
But the difference is when you have better tools to get yourself back on track, it's 15 minutes instead of 15 days. And I didn't end up losing the whole launch. So I got myself back on track with, kind of okay, basically what I did was I got into the space where I was willing to lose the entire thing again. I was willing to just okay, it's going to go sideways. Great. All right, let's just breathe into that. All right, fine, I can lose it. And then that allows the creativity to open up. And there's a bit more to that process, but I know we have 20 minutes. So I'm respecting that. 20 minutes, I'm okay, stand up. So this, getting myself to the space where I was clear again, then I was okay, let me come up with a creative idea. Great. You know what, Kindle, you're going to pay full price, but you get 20 minutes with me one-to-one for a full out session where I'm going to blast you into being the badass in business. So for everybody that buys the Kindle today, you actually get a better deal.
I love it. I love it.
I know. So, yeah. Well, things go sideways all the time, but that's why we need to be having some tools to be able to get back on track to being confident again, to being centered again.
Absolutely. And even now, like we did a test. I was telling everyone while we were flipping cameras that, we did a test on desktop. We went through sound and video and dashboard controls. And then we switched up. We, mobile phone, figure, we'll try this different device. And so both of us had to recover like on the spot, right? And you mentioned tools to maybe call in that inner dominatrix and tell me a little bit about how you you came back in, you're calm, cool, and collected, and ready to go. So was there something that you did, or are there tools that you share with your clients? Can you share one? I know, we can't reveal the whole book, but
yeah.
I mean, I would like to call in my inner dominatrix. And not only, I mean, I'm not going through the Hollywood style, but I really love what you said about the customer service, the highest level of client experience and customer service, because I think that journey that we take our clients on can be, it's a relationship. And I mean, yeah, like I'll let you speak to that, but what is this tool that you call it? It's one of the tools.
Okay, one of the tools. So I'm going to give you the foundational tool, because this is the one that you need to get started to do all the other tools. So basically what I want to explain to you, first of all, is that in order to be present, in order to be like really able to be client centered, focused on what they need, where they're at, you need to not be up in your own baggage. And one of the biggest things is allowing yourself to expand out. So when we feel attacked or we feel things are going bad, our natural ingrained response is to pull everything in, and we think we're protecting ourselves. But the thing is that you can't move very well when you're contracted into a little ball, right? It's really hard to be agile. So when you let yourself expand out, and I'm talking like energetically expand out, and sometimes, physically you need to just kind of move. But when you expand out and let yourself be as big as the universe, really, really big, you have the space to move and to navigate and to figure out where you need to be, where you need to go. And then you also have a much bigger perspective on what is going on. And that's where those creative ideas come in. And when you're in that zone, right? Everybody calls it the zone. When you're in that zone, that's where it's like, oh, let me use this. This could be just genius, right? That's where it comes in, is when you let yourself expand out. Now, there's also some other tools. Like I said, in the book, there's some great tools for getting out of the self-judgment and then the self-doubt. So I'll leave that as a teaser.
I love that. I love that. Because I think the challenge when we say we're ready to amplify is that, you never truly feel ready. I have to fix this. I have to tweak this. The cover's not, my chair is squeaking here. You can never, never feel ready until you actually just, start taking those steps. And I think that when we talk about bulletproof confidence, I think for me, when I show up on live video, I'm always like, that one mantra I tell myself is like, if there's just one person that hears my message, then I've done my job and I need to get past whatever is stopping me. And that usually pushes me through. And I'm just squeaking here in this I'm wearing leather today in honor of your book launch.
All right.
And so bulletproof confidence, perhaps you create your own systems for yourself, right? So you took a tool, but then you customize it for yourself to take things to the next level. Would you say?
So the bulletproof confidence comes when, like, the deeper you go in clearing out the judgments that you have about you and you in relation to other people and how things need to show up. And also this concept of nothing is right or wrong. So when we really start to own this idea that nothing we do is either right or wrong, then that unlocks that whole piece of, what if I screw it up? Because there is no wrong. And that's kind of the deeper level. It's like the spiritual piece, right? I'm really a big one for consciousness. I talk in terms of very practical, but I am very woo, which is the spiritual, all things, energy and spiritual based.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm a big believer in that woo meets practical, as you said, like it's important that we follow best practices and that we follow structure. But at the same time, I know in content marketing, you can follow these formulas and they still fall flat. And usually it's a matter of energy, confidence or
Absolutely.
clarity,
Alignment.
conviction,
That's
alignment. Oh,
right. If you're not aligned, which is where the clarity comes from, which is where the confidence comes from, right? If you're not aligned with what you're doing and where your message is, nothing works. So prior to really owning this, the Inner Dominatrix platform, I mean, I've like bounced in and out for a few years because it's a tough one, right? Like, let me tell you, it challenges people. Holy crap. But when I didn't own it, nothing worked.
that is powerful.
It is very powerful.
I'm gonna take a minute there. Can you say that again?
When I didn't own what it was that really lights me up, nothing worked.
Oh, Dana, there's something so powerful about that. And I think that there's a ton of viewers today. And if you're watching, I'm still getting used to all these controls. I had all these buttons I was going to press while we speak, but hopefully Sarah's helping me in the background. I'm just like so focused on you right now. And I think there's all these viewers, including myself at times, where we're committed, we're hardworking, we maybe drive ourselves into the ground. We get up early, we go to bed late, and we're kind of obsessed. We kind of like love what we do, and we're so determined to succeed. And yet, I think there's this alignment piece that if you're not quite sure if this is the direction you want to go in, and you're not in alignment with even confidence, or alignment with content,
Absolutely.
like
It
some
comes through, like in the writing of the content, in the writing of your ads, your posts, all the things. And I notice it. Okay, so I still see it. When I have a day where it's like it's all going sideways, and I'm like not in alignment, crickets. And yet other days, I can put out a post and I can tag a few people, and within an hour, I have 60 people signed up to an event. So that's the extreme. And that's where I keep coming back to, I got to commit to what I'm doing. I have to commit to this path. And anybody who is energy sensitive is going to find that this is what applies to them. And that's what I see with my clients all the time. We get them aligned, we get these tools going, and they start rocking. They just they'll do things like bring in $12,000 in 2 weeks, or turn it around where they've quadrupled their income in 6 months. Like, it's just crazy. But then when they're out of alignment, everything dries up. So we got to get them back in alignment.
Right. Oh, I hear you. Well, it is a journey, and it's a journey of getting closer to yourself. We often think that the being the entrepreneur, it's like the dream life. And then we're often, I think people are surprised to find out it's like a journey in self-development and self-discovery, and, holy cow, right? Who knew what we're signing up for? And for all those just starting, just wait.
Business is an extreme sport.
I love it. So let's have a little bit of fun here. I always like to find out like what's on your bookshelf. Like what books do you read, just to soothe your souls? Yeah. So we'll start with the one in your hands. I'm sure you've read it like 10 times over, as I know I'm proofing my book over and over and over again. I don't think you can proof it enough. So what else do you read? Do you listen? How do you?
I love Audible. So I'm the audiobooks. Recently listened to Profit First by Mike with a funny last name.
Akawit or
whatever. The mouthful. Mike the Motorbike is how you can get to his website.
Yes, I think I have his book somewhere on the bookshelf.
I read some of Jane Fonda's latest book. Couldn't get through all of it. She was kind of whiny. She's interesting. She's a great storyteller. And what else have I read recently? My brain is gapping on that.
That's okay. I'm interested in the Jane Fonda because she's always been a strong woman kind of icon for in my over the years. And so that would be interesting to check out. We can, the viewers, if you're still watching, of course you're still watching, I'd love to see what books you're reading as well. And if, for some of you, if you're writing a book or thinking of launching a book, let us know in the comments below. I wanted,
how are we doing for time? Because we were going to share what all I've done for the launch.
Yeah. So we have a couple minutes. I think that we had my timer come in. Oh, here it is, right here. Good timing here. so let's take just a few minutes. This is our first run through. Yeah. So tell us maybe 3 things about the launch that we need to know, or that would help other people that are launching books. Something to think about. Maybe things that surprised you.
Okay, so first of all, not a big surprise, but I did know that the cover art, spend the money on the cover art. And I used one of those design, like a 99 design kind of thing. It wasn't that one, but it was another where people bid on it. And that is great because you get a number of different ideas all at once, and you can come from there. And then take that, and I put it out to my tribe. So I was giving them choices, and they were all voting in. They went crazy about it, and it really stirred up a buzz.
I love that.
You can never do enough edits. Lots of people editing it, and then get a professional to do the final edit, because there's some tweaky things that you want for the printing and for the Kobo and Kindle versions, right?
Awesome.
The other thing that surprised me is how hard the actual launch has been. So I thought that I would have a lot more support. I'm going to be honest. I really expected about 100 sales by now, and that's not what's coming in. So,
oh, wow. Okay.
Lots of people that talk a good talk, but you've got to be willing to really put the pressure on people. And I'm like personally messaging everyone and tagging them, and like I have lots of people sharing.
Yeah.
But then for the sales, it's like it's very interesting. So just because you have 100 people who say they're going to buy a copy, you need to have about 1,000 people that say they're going to buy a copy.
Right. Just to get that 10% conversion, technically. People forget, they get caught up. It's Monday, the buzz of the week already. Yeah.
And lots of people like to say, oh, yeah, that'd be great. I can't wait for it to come out. I'll buy a copy. And then never do it.
Right. Now, I'm going to say one thing, though, because I know there's 2 schools of thought about this, and that when we first launch our book, the launch is just the beginning.
It is.
So what I find is that we do all this work for the launch, and then it's like, now what, right? And there's this is a continued effort, a continued flow. And I think that what you do on launch day will absolutely affect your future sales. So specifically with Amazon, I know that when you get great results, that they start, it just supports you, show up in the hot new release, you show up in other pages, and so it builds momentum for that launch. But I think that your book is also something that will position you as that go-to expert that you are. And I think there's so many side benefits that if you have a book inside of you and that you share your wisdom with the world, I think that is a huge win in itself, Dana.
Absolutely.
Like, I mean,
and
just
everywhere you go, you have your book with you. So every time I talk, every time I speak, I'm selling books at the back of the room. So, the book has multiple uses. Absolutely. It's not just a launch. It's just, sometimes it's like, oh my God, I'm doing all of this work for how many sales?
Oh no. And you know what, but it's not just about that, though. It will open more doors. It will bring you into new opportunities. And like you said, like the flow and alignment with the book launch has been something that this has evolved. And I just think that it's building up speed for everything else that's coming your way. So how can people stay in touch with you or connect with you, learn more? How can they buy the book? Will you pop your link to the book page in the comments afterwards? And tell us a little bit more. Where do you hang out online?
My social media is Facebook. I'm trying to get the Instagram going, but Facebook is definitely the better place to find me. I am the only Dana Pharant in the world.
Hey,
I know. Cool.
I love it. Yeah.
So you Google my name and it's going to come up everywhere. There's, innerdominatrix.com will take you to a webpage for the book as well.
Absolutely. Okay, fantastic. I'm excited. I want to thank you for sitting here with us and sharing these nuggets and insights. I think that everyone should approach their business with that inner dominatrix attitude. And I think that the energy management, the different areas of focus and content that you've put together are going to help those that are navigating their careers and want to add that much more value to the whole experience. So I'm pretty excited about those that get their hands on the book. And I got to get a copy. I'm going to pop in there and get it on my iPad in a few minutes. So I'll let you know when it shows up. And, you know, one of the fun things I like seeing people do too is like when they're holding your book or they're sharing your book. So encourage your readers to do that too when they get it, or to maybe highlight the quotes that they love. And I just wish you all the best, Dana. I think it's going to be an amazing year for you, and it's pretty exciting. So thank you for coming up and being my first interview and working out the tech issues here. And I feel like we could talk forever. So we might have to plan another interview in a few weeks and see how it goes. And
definitely.
I'll see you on the other side. All right, I'm just going to shut her down. I guess everyone, thanks for watching. If you're watching on replay, post your questions with #replay. Again, I'm Leigh Fowler. I'm a content amplifier, helping you step into a bigger spotlight, converting your followers and viewers into buyers, and doing it in a way that feels good. So, love you guys, and I'll talk to you soon. All right, and it might take me a few minutes to find the buttons here, so hang in there with me. All right, thanks. I'm gonna turn you off, Dana, and I'll see you on the other side.
Okay.
Bye. Okay, so let me see here, everybody. Gotta find the end button. There we go. Okay, bye for now.